Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Lessons for Life from Swami Jagadatmananji's inspiring bestseller Learn to Live, Volume 1, Chapter 2. Infinite power is hidden within you. Now, the nature of the Supreme Intelligent Principle, or the Supreme Being, or Paramatma, or God, who is immanent and transcendent, who is all-pervasive, is discussed here. The Supreme Being in the background of the universe. The Supreme Being, the Divine Principle, is present everywhere and governs all things at all times. According to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the omnipotent Supreme Divine is present behind all beings. The Supreme Divine is present in all beings. Himself changeless and unattached, He makes all beings move like a machine with His mysterious power. Those who have observed the significant movements within molecules and atoms will find the above statement appropriate. The delineations of the Supreme Being or God as given in the Upanishads contain the essential views of all religions about God. The thoughts about God, the ideas about God with attributes and without attributes are integrated in them. They are also akin to some extent to the views scientists hold about the power controlling the universe. But in reality, they even supersede these scientific views. One can see this in the following verse from Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6:11, which is pregnant with meaning. Eko devaha sarva bhuteshu gudha sarva vyapi sarva bhutantaratma karmadhyakshaha sarva bhutadhivasah sakshi cheta kevalo nirgunascha. He is one without a second, yet He is hidden in every being. This principle, the supreme principle of consciousness, is all-pervasive, the self of all. He gives to all beings the fruits of their actions, and He is the support of all. He is the bestower of consciousness, without attributes and unconditioned. The Upanishads, which began with the objective of discerning the true nature of Atman, stress the universality and the unity of the Supreme Being again and again. God is in everybody, but not everybody is in God, was a statement made by Sri Ramakrishna. The Supreme Principle is present in everybody, but because it is extremely subtle, is beyond the ordinary perception of human beings. Man's concept of truth is limited to what is comprehended by his ordinary understanding. He is bound by the conditions of the family. Human beings are bound by the conditions of their families and the environment in which they are born and brought up. The tiger cub which grew in the midst of sheep thought that it was a sheep. Brought up from childhood in the house of the washerman, the prince believed that he was a washerman. Man's ordinary business of life is conducted in the belief that the I is within the inverted commas. The I, the self, the Atman is made up of flesh, blood, muscles and nerves and belongs to a particular caste, race, or religion. This is a very important point to understand. Man's ordinary business of life is conducted in the belief that the I is within the inverted commas, that the I is made up of flesh, blood, muscles, and nerves, and belongs to a particular caste, race, or religion. He does not realize his true nature by delving deep, even if it is explained to him logically and consistently. He refuses to be convinced. But today, in the light of the latest scientific discoveries, the possibility of understanding the truth of things is not removed. The genuine desire to know things is the only prerequisite. All this is the supreme principle. All this is the supreme. The supreme principle is without a second. The Atman is the supreme. I am the supreme principle. That is, my essential nature is the supreme. Thou art that is, you are the supreme principle, Tattvamasi. The supreme principle is of the nature of pure consciousness. These great Upanishadic statements are the views of the great mystic philosophers, of rishis, or men of wisdom, about the ultimate nature of the highest truth. Religious men, spiritual men, or devotees will understand and express them in the following manner. God exists in us always. We derive our existence, energy, and strength from Him, from the Supreme Being. We live and move in Him and return to Him. He is behind all this creation. He is unequaled. This omnipresent unitary principle is eternal. But only if we understand it properly can it bring about changes in us. To understand the principle, we should first convince ourselves of it at the intellectual level. Our mind should accept God fully. Then there will be the dawn of true enlightenment in our life. This omnipresent, omnipotent God is not a person as we think of persons, but He can become very personal as we move closer to Him with love and devotion. God can appear in any form cherished by His devotee. In whatever form He is conceived, the very thought about Him sanctifies, purifies the interior and exterior of man. The glory of the Supreme Being is the next episode. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.